Singer Lana Del Rey is crediting producer Jack Antonoff for her happy marriage to Louisiana boat captain Jeremy Dufresne. Lana said that during an event for Variety that she was inspired to wait for the right person by seeing the love in Jack's marriage to actress Margaret Qualley. Oh, who we just mentioned was just nominated for Cool. Okay. So what do you think about relationship cues, you know, maybe comparing or waiting and wanting to have what somebody else has?
Wait. I think there's a difference between being inspired and comparing. If you see a relationship and you're inspired and you're like, I want my husband to treat me like that. Like when I interviewed Sierra, the way her husband treats her, I was like, that is the bar. That's where I want it. But if I'm in a relationship, I think it's a horrible idea to look at someone else's relationship and go, I want exactly what they have. Because I've learned you don't know what you don't know. And there was actually a couple in my 20s that I thought was great. They had everything, career, they were good looking, they had a wonderful life. And my girlfriend and I went to the wife's birthday party at their home and we're having a good time. And then my girlfriend asked to go to the bathroom and the husband's like, oh, I'll show you where it is. And when he took her down there, he tried to shove her in the bathroom to have sex with her. And my girlfriend came up and I could tell something was completely different with her and I talked to her about it and we both were shaken and then we left the party. But in that moment, I learned this was a couple that I hung out with and I was envying and I had no idea.
Oh my God.
I later learned that there's a whole lot of issues in their relationship, but it was my wake-up call to stop looking at relationships and going, I want that. You don't know what you don't know. And just focus on the relationship you have and making it the best it can possibly be. And I think that's the best thing that anybody can do.
Oh my
But that was the lesson I was like, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think that, but there are aspects like that I do find inspiring. Like I find you and Simon very inspiring.
Oh, that's
And I just, but it's interesting because I can look at you guys and it inspires me because I also see how the two of you bring out such great qualities in each other. It's not so much that I want exactly and any aspects, because actually a lot of things that you guys do together, I'm like, that wouldn't work in my relationship.
Yeah.
So I think there's that objectivity, but I love the idea of finding other people inspiring. And I agree with you. There was a famous couple, I mean, she's written a bunch of books, Rachel Hollis. She was self-help person. She also, along with her husband, they did a podcast that had like over 100 episodes, I believe, and they would charge for weekends away with them for like relationship advice kind of weekends, her and her husband, $2,000 a pop, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, suddenly a divorce was announced. So I think that a lot of people it was very controversial at the time. People were like, wait a minute, I spent a whole bunch of money looking to you for exactly what you guys have, and meanwhile it was all a farce. And I mean, I'm sure the truth of that is a bit more complicated, but again, buyer beware.
Oh, that's interesting. I think where it does matter is, I agree that I think comparing yourself is dangerous. I think it's probably to a certain degree very natural and human nature.
Absolutely.
I think naturally we compare because we want to see how are we doing? Are we better off than some people? Are we worse than some people? And I think that's very normal when it's a normal and you understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I think if you're seeking what somebody else has, you're you know, what's that saying? The grass is greener where you water it. So maybe don't be looking elsewhere. But where I do think it's important is in terms of comparison. In my life, I'm trying to create the best relationship with my husband for the sake of that, but also because I know my daughter will replicate what she sees at home.
She's watching.
And so she's watching. So the idea of comparison is I want, hopefully, what my parents have in my relationship. So the idea of replicating and comparing, I want her to compare it to something as healthy as I can possibly create for her. That's the only time that I think this matters.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just do real unrealistic comparisons, like, you know, when you're watching a movie and you're like, Simon, why didn't you jump through a waterfall and kill all my enemies like Daniel Day-Lewis in what's that movie, The Last of the Mohicans? Why wouldn't you do that for me? Huh?
Simon's like, listen, lady, I clean the house. What do you want? I take care of the cat, leave me alone.
I watch other couples for what not to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the way people talk to each other.
Yes.
It's like, I never want to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Do you guys go on double dates? I stopped doing double dates because of that comparison, because you can feel it at the table during dinner. You're like, we're gonna talk about this in the car on the way home.
Luckily, our friends are great. Couple of friends are great.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.